Well guys, I never said I'd do one of these again, but I promise this is the final one. This is like, this is the last time I'm ever gonna do a Unity video. I just found this file on PS4, I thought I wanted to do a video of PS4 gameplay, but I want to talk more about Assassin's Creed because of victory at E3, and this is the only piece of gameplay from Assassin's Creed I have on my PS4, so I try. Anyway, so E3's come and gone, it's finally over. I mean, it was some good fun. I've watched the Bethesda press conference. I didn't watch the Nintendo press conference simply because I couldn't be bothered. Like, it's just Nintendo's been going on a crash course downhill for a long time now. It's just I couldn't be bothered to watch their slow descent. And plus I didn't really want to see the slow descent because I thought they would announce another Mario game and blah blah blah. I just couldn't be bothered for it. And I'm saddened that there was no Half-Life 3 confirmed at E3, because as always, we still await for Valve to release a third installment of one of their successful titles, such as Portal 3, Team Fortress 3, Half-Life 3, so I was annoyed by that. But anyway, E3's come and gone. I have seen AC Victory gameplay, I've seen the trailers, and obviously, so far we can't make too much. We can't really talk too much about Victory because we have, I mean, granted we have more details at this stage than we had like ages ago, but obviously we still don't have the full game, we still don't have the full details, blah blah blah. But I want to kind of talk about it. Now, the thing is, a lot of the people I know in the AC community, who are mainly multiplayer players, are boycotting the entire game. They're not going to buy it because they want multiplayer to return. That's their choice, that's fine. In the beginning, when I heard the arguments in case, I pretty much signed up to the cause. I was just like, you know what, I want multiplayer too. I want a Brotherhood style multiplayer in the next AC game. You know, I want to see the reinvigoration of the multiplayer. However, at E3, my position on this matter has slightly altered. For the most part, I'm still mainly at this point on the fence about actually buying this game, Victory, when it comes out, or even pre-ordering it. But again, my position has slightly changed because in the end, as much as me and others would want to see a multiplayer return, and we consumers have the power to push Ubisoft to bring it back, do we want them to bring back the multiplayer? Do we want to push them to bring back the multiplayer for it to then to come out to be garbage? So maybe a 1 year, like a break, just from multiplayer in general, no co-op, not even competitive multiplayer. Maybe that is what we need for the multiplayer side to improve, for the developers to take time, and at that time we can, you know, create all forms of media. Like, we can create sort of discussion groups and online social network groups, which we can then address, like, features we want to return in Assassin's Creed multiplayer games, features we don't want to return in a future Assassin's Creed multiplayer game. We can do that and then send it off to Ubisoft saying, you know, this is what we want, we are your consumers, this is what we want, we've now directly said this, give us this. But anyway, let's talk about the main gameplay. For the most part, it's become more indiscreet. Like, I feel that, how can I put this any other way? In fact, I can't really do this any other way. I feel that AC Victory looks a lot more like Batman mixed with Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, because obviously there's the dynamic of using the Rooks, which is now Jacob's gang that he's creating to then overthrow the Templars, who are using thugs and gangs to control the working class people. Essentially almost like a Marxist or anarcho. Essentially you're taking on the role of a Marxist or an anarchist, essentially uniting the working class to overthrow the bourgeoisie. That's a little bit of political knowledge you have for you there. Obviously this is not a political channel, so we'll move away from that altogether anyway. It's similar to the Brotherhood mechanic in that you recruit members into the Brotherhood, you're recruiting members into the gang, and then you're ultimately going to use them to fight the Templars. So, in a way, I don't really have any feelings towards them bringing it back. Like, I guess it fits the time even more. You're actually relying more on the working class than essentially creating an army of assassins. I think that's actually a bit more better. But anyway, one other feature is obviously the story. Jacob has a sister. I keep forgetting her name, but she's his twin sister. And there's an official trailer for her. What I want to know is, are you going to be able to play as her? That's one of the key things I want to know. Because she seems to be a very sort of interesting kind of character, whereas Jacob, think of it like this. It's almost, the problem with Assassin's Creed is, I think their two strongest characters was Ezio and Altair. It's almost like that. Jacob's sister is almost like the Altair half. You know, she's more focused, she's more matured, she's more focused on her work, she takes it more seriously, or from what I can gather from the gameplay. Jacob, he's more the Ezio kind. He likes to have a bit of fun. Like, he still cares about his work, he still cares about, you know, stopping the Templars, but he just likes to have a bit of a joke about it. He's got more of a lively personality and character to him. So, I think her name is, I don't know why, but for some reason I keep thinking her name is Elena. I don't know why. Anyway, so Jacob's sister, she's more like, I'll tell you, she's more methodical. Jacob himself, he's more like Ezio. But anyway, but to get back, the reason I say it's a bit like Assassin's Creed meets Batman is because of the gadgets. Obviously the game's taking place in the Industrial Revolution, and we've seen one of the new weapons or tools that Jacob has at his disposal. It's essentially the grapple hook, or essentially the same one from Batman. You know, you look up at a point like a beam or even a gargoyle, you press L1, and then it then repels out of his wrist blade, hits, attaches to the point, then you repel up to the point. Essentially, that is what it is. Essentially, that is what. Like, go check the Batman Arkham games. It's the same story. You know, Batman has I think it's called the Bat Claw. You know, you just point up a beam or gargoyle. The same thing attaches to it. You repel upwards. So obviously, with the Industrial Revolution, I mean, I want them to sort of tone it back on the graphics. Now, they've toned it back on the weapons by making Jacob's main weapon the cane, and it's got a blade or a sword inside of it. What I want to know is, are there any other weapons outside of that? Like, can you purchase different weapons? Like, can you, say, for example, go out, purchase a sword, or, hell, like in Unity, go out, purchase a musket rifle, or purchase a sword, or even purchase like a small axe or a butcher's knife if you want to still be more discreet. I don't know, I just want to see like that they still have a bit of weapon diversity, but I like the fact that now Jacob's only carrying one weapon, like Unity. Arno only carried one weapon apart from his hidden blade. You know, it's more discreet, it's more believable than having a freaking arsenal on your back and on your side. Now, the final thing is London itself. So far the open world looks more lively. Obviously with this feature of we've seen this new feature shown multiple times, like of just hijacking someone's horse and carriage and then just using it to chase down a target. What I would like to see is just another feature of just like the horses from Assassin's Creed Brotherhood or even 3. You know, just if you want to remain a bit more discreet, instead of taking an entire carriage, just, you know, taking a horse. I want to see that feature, to be honest. But so far, the gameplay looks good. The combat looks similar to Unity. It looks kind of similar. One thing I want to see from this is if they really actually try to make it more of a challenge. That's the one key thing about the combat. I want to see it made a challenge, because it looks like most of the people you're going to be fighting are unarmed and unarmored thugs. So I actually want to see the combat being stepped up. Now obviously they say they're going to be focusing more on melee combat, so is it going to be more of a fist fighting kind of affair? Apparently that's what they're setting it out to be, so obviously we'll have to see more gameplay from when the game comes out, blah blah blah, about how they're going to do the combat. As for me ordering it, I addressed this point at the beginning of the video, but I'm more sort of swayed at this point at purchasing Victory. Now obviously we've only seen trailers and gameplay demos, and to be honest, there have been numerous times where Ubisoft have released trailers and gameplay demos for Assassin's Creed games. I can name 2 examples, Revelations and number 3, and I bought into the hype, I bought into what they were saying, and then it turned out just to be a massive pile of garbage in front of my feet that I wasted £45 per game on. In fact, over £60 on Assassin's Creed 3 and over £50 on Assassin's Creed Revelations. But anyway, I'm more sort of swayed to purchasing Victory. It's not a definite at this point. I haven't definitely decided that I am and am not going to do it. Now, obviously, you can make your judgments about the game now, and I'm going to make my judgments about the game, but when it comes closer to the time, I'll make a decision whether to pre-order the game or not. Now, obviously, I want to talk about other games shown at E3, like Fallout 4, Uncharted 4, and in fact even Uncharted the Drake's Collection, which is basically the first 3 Uncharted games remastered for next generation consoles. You know, I'm even going to get that game, to be honest. I want to pick up Fallout 4, these are definite pickups I want to make. Fallout 4, Uncharted 4, Uncharted Drake's Collection, and Need for Speed. Those are games I definitely want to get. But anyway, we'll have to talk about those games and the rest of E3 at another time. But for now, let's start a discussion about Victory now, and hopefully we can start a social network page for Assassin's Creed multiplayer. But anyway,